Hola, hola. This is your boy Tico Trent, and I'm gonna talk about my interactions with women based on how I'm viewed and how I see women literally. Um, I'm gonna get a screenshot of this shirt because you'll like it. The bottom half of it, that is. But yeah, yeah. My interactions with women are quite weird when it comes down to it. Unlike most other men, because I've always said all women are beautiful, but not all women are attractive. If you know what I mean. So that means to me, all women are beautiful to somebody, but not all women are attractive to me. What that actually means is I'm probably not going to pay you no mind until I actually find you attractive. And there's two ways that I actually pay women attention: if they're attractive or if they say something intelligent. Those are the only two ways that I actually pay women attention. If I find them attractive or if they say something intelligent. If you don't do either, then I really don't care. That's legit shit. If you don't pull off either, then I really don't care about you. And I really don't care to look at you. I really don't care to view you. I really don't care to see you, and I really don't need you in my line of sight. That's exactly how I view life. Because at the end of the day, you might be pretty or you might be attractive, but you're attractive to somebody else. You're not, just because you're pretty over here, doesn't mean you're going to be pretty in my face, or pretty over here, as I always say. You're pretty over there, but you're not pretty over here, if you know what I mean. That's typically how I look at women, and that goes for all women from all walks of life. And some women have it worse than other women when it comes down to it too, because there's just certain groups of women I just don't find attractive in the least bit to want to pay attention to. And we already know those two groups off the bat. So yeah. Yeah, if you don't fall into the attractive category, then yeah. It's kind of saying the same reason why I don't take advice or take compliments very well from women or certain groups of women. Because at the end of the day, I don't know why you're saying this to me, and what the fuck do you want? Literally. That's exactly how I view things. Like, especially when, somebody at work gives me a compliment, I look at it like, where the fuck is this coming from, and why? What the fuck do you want? I'm very suspicious of women who give me compliments, in other words, if you know what I mean. Especially when they fall into the two group category that I always like pick on. I'm very suspicious of, first off, why the fuck are you giving me a compliment? And two, who the fuck are you? Like legit, who the fuck are you? Like, and that's typically how I actually approach that situation. Why the fuck are you giving me a compliment? What the fuck do you want? And who the fuck are you? Literally. Like, and that's legit how I approach it. Because I'm very suspect when women actually give me a compliment. Like, okay, what the fuck do you want? Like, if I give a person a compliment, it's legit. Like, if I tell a woman that she's pretty, she's beautiful, that's legit. That's basically baseline for me. That's basically, that'd be equivalent to me calling you ugly or with homely, just shit like that. Me calling a woman beautiful is baseline for me is basically equivalent to somebody calling you ugly or homely, if you know what I mean. So I'll tell a woman that they're not very beautiful, but I'll tell a woman, oh, you look beautiful. Or they'll ask me how I look. Beautiful. And I'll have that smile on my face, but yeah. That's typically how I operate. Or I just won't say anything at all, and I'll just smile and walk away. It's like, that's typically how I operate. Like, there's no other way around it. That's typically how I operate. And the irony to it is I've noticed if a woman from those two groups, that I really don't find attractive or ever really hit the attractive threshold for me, give me a compliment, I look at it very suspect. And I'll give a very nonchalant response. Like a nonchalant, open-ended response, so I won't really, okay. Almost like it has a question mark on the end of it, I've noticed. Whereas if a man from those two cultures actually give me a compliment, I actually take that as a legit compliment, if you know what I mean. So, like, a good example of that, if an African-American man or a white man gives me a compliment, I actually take it as a legit compliment. If a white woman or an African-American woman gives me a compliment, I view it through the eyes. I get very suspect about it, and I view it very like, what do you want? What are you playing at? What do you want? I'm very suspect about it. Basically, if an African American woman or a white woman actually gives me a compliment, I'm very suspect about I believe that there's always a motive behind it, if you know what I mean. Like, okay, what is your problem? What are you playing at? Or my one favorite game I used to play, Baldur's Gates. I think it was Renal Ball Scout. So explain your intent and make it quick. Explain your intent and make it quick. That's typically how I approach that situation. But if, their male counterparts give me a compliment, I literally take that as a compliment. If a female gives me that compliment, I take it as a sign of you want something, or what do you want, or what are you trying to play at, man, basically. That's how I approach that. And it might sound mean and sad, but that's legit how I approach it. Because, first off, I look at it like this. Why the fuck are you giving me a compliment? 1. 2, what the fuck do you want to be giving me this compliment? And 3, you sound very suspect to me right now. Literally sound very suspect to me right now. That's how I approach it. I don't really take compliments from women from an African American background or a white background very nicely or very, very fondly, because I view it with a grain of salt, and I view it as being very suspect, if you know what I mean. Because I always looked at it like this: if a woman's giving me a compliment that's African American or white, I view it like, bitch, you sold something. What do you want? Or guilty. What do you want? Like, you just look very suspect to me when you actually give me a compliment. And I don't really take compliments very well from women from those two groups, because I take it with a grain of salt, and I'm very on the fence about it. But I've learned in America sometimes it's good to be nice, but I'm still on the fence about it, and I'll say, it's not really anything, or I'll downplay it. I'll literally either downplay it or I'll go, I'm okay. I'll basically downplay the whole entire thing if I'm being complimented by a woman from those two cultures. I'll basically downplay it, or, just go, or play defense on it, like, and I'll just walk away. That's typically how I handle those. Like, if a male gives me a compliment, it's like, thank you very much. Moving right along. But yeah, this is typically how I handle that. It's typically how I view it and handle shit like that. Because, I don't know, I'm just weird like that. I don't take compliments too well. Especially from that culture of women. Like, if an Asian woman was to come up to me and say that, I would actually say thank you. Or if a African woman or a Afro-Caribbean or Caribbean woman or a Latina was to say it to me, I would actually take it as a compliment, if you know what I mean. Whereas a woman from the Western world was to say it, I'd take it with a grain of salt. Or with a line of disbelief, if you know what I mean. But if their male counterparts was to say it to me, I take it as a legit compliment. That's typically how I operate. It's a legit compliment when it comes from their male counterparts. But it's very suspect when it comes from the female counterparts. But yeah, that's enough for this one.